Alright, so we're just going to be measuring out our color wheel. It's a little confusing looking, but if you just follow this video step by step, I promise you it's not as intimidating as it looks. So just take your ruler and measure out, find the center of the 14-inch side. The center is going to be 7. Seven again. Go ahead and connect that line. And you can draw lighter lines if you want to. I'm just drawing them dark so that way you guys can see what I'm doing. Now go ahead and find the center of the edge. So that is going to be 8.5. Now go ahead and draw a line using the width of the ruler, which the width of the ruler is approximately 1 1/4 inch. If you're not using the same ruler that came in the kit, measure in 1 1/4 inch. Draw a line. So take your ruler now, and the center of the page is 8.5. Line up your ruler to meet that 8.5 inch mark at 3.5. And at the first tick mark from the ruler, you're just going to draw a 7-inch line. And I like to go ahead and mark where it begins and ends. It comes in handy later. So again, on the other side, 8.5. Draw a little line. Measure up the 8.5 inch mark with 3.5. Make your 7-inch line. Next, you're going to line up the ends of your 7-inch line with the center of the paper, and go ahead and make that line 6.5 inches. So where the 6.5 is on the paper, have it met up with that center line. And it should be that way all the way around. If it's a hair off, it's going to be fine. Odds are the paper might be a little bit off. So maybe it's not totally your fault. When I'm doing this, I like to just put my finger in the center of this hole here, because it helps me like maneuver around a little easier. So 6.5. Okay. So now just go ahead and connect the corners and the center line. Alright, so since we already had that center line marked, it went across easy. Now you have these larger 4 quadrants here. Just find the center of those, which since our line was 6.5, half of 6.5 is going to be 3 1/4. So go ahead and mark those for those 4 large quadrants. Now you're just going to connect those across the hexagon. So now you're going to have this here. Next, take your ruler and at each of those lines on the corners of the hexagon or the points of the hexagon, go ahead and measure in 2 inches and then 4 inches. So put a mark at the 2, put a mark at the 4. And again, remember this is going to only be for the points, because all we're doing is just bringing in the hexagon. Okay, so once you have 2 inches and then 4 inches marked, go ahead and just connect them. I'm using a straight edge just because it's a little bit easier to maneuver around the page. Alright, so now it should look like this. Now at this point I like to go ahead and label the colors. So I'm going to start with yellow right up here. And then we're going to have orange, yellow, orange, red, orange, red, violet, red, normal violet, violet blue, the real blue, green blue, normal green, and yellow green. So go ahead and label out that first. Next, okay, so when you're at this point here, what we want to do is highlight that we're working with split primaries. So take note of your primary colors, and what we're going to do is we're just going to extend out the sections of only the primary colors. And I'm just going to again be using the width of the ruler because it's easier that way than trying to measure. The blue is going to go off of the page, which is fine. So go ahead and connect that out. And they're going to be split primaries, so rather than just one blue, we're working with 2 different color blues. So to find the center, I'm just going to draw an X using my straight edge, connecting these 2 little corners here for this section. And really you don't even have to connect them, just kind of draw an X in the center. And that finds the center of that slice. Now connect that center with the center of your hexagon, like that. And go ahead and do the same thing for the red. The only difference is with the red, if you go out the complete 1 1/4 inch, it goes completely off of the page. So just bring it in a little bit. Kind of guesstimate, you know. So let's see, I'll do that there. I'll just connect those out. And again, find the center. And just line it up with the center again. Go in. We have that. And then do it one more time with the yellow. This one actually fits the whole side of the ruler, so we already have that line there, so we could easily just connect that. Let's bring out this line a little bit more. And again, find the center of this section here and connect it to the center. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and erase last little line there and the X. So you'll have these last two little sections here being longer than the rest of the sections, just to highlight that we're working with primary colors. So go ahead and erase your extra marks. And I'm just going to move out my letter B some, so that way it's not in the color wheel. And then my R has no space on the sides, so I'm just going to put an R down here, arrow pointing up. So there we go. Now for the center, we're just going to draw another hexagon. So again, remember with the points, those are the only lines we're going to be dealing with. So using your ruler, go ahead and go in from that last hexagon point here. Go in 1.5 inches. On all of the little points. Now I'm just going to go ahead and take my straight edge and connect those points I just marked. Okay, so she's a little squashed looking, and that's fine. We're just gonna erase this center little spider web looking area where all of our lines intersected. There you have it. Your color wheel will look like this. And you're going to have to do this twice. So go ahead and do it again on another sheet of Bristol paper. And hopefully the second time around will be a little bit easier than this first time. Again, I apologize that due to social distancing, we're not able to be in the classroom using the stencils and measuring everything out together, but this is the simplest way that I could think of to make a hexagon, and we're doing less quadrants than we normally would, so I think that this will be pretty good. So good luck, guys.